Hi BookTube, it's Gina. Happy Tuesday, happy November 1st, happy Nonfiction November. I will have some nonfiction content to share with you in the upcoming days, but today, since it's Tuesday, I thought I would do a tag. It's been a while since I've actually been able to do a tag on Tuesday, and it's quiet here. My deck construction is done, my spouse is at work, and I thought, yay, it's a perfect time to do a tag. So I've got my notes on my trusty computer here, and I wanted to do the eReader book tag. This tag was created by Micah Cummins, and I was planning on doing this tag anyway, but I actually did get tagged, yay, by Michael K. Vaughn. So thanks, Mike, for tagging me. I love my Kindle, so I was very excited to do this tag. So let's jump right in. Prompt number 1, what was the first e-reader you ever owned? What was your reason for getting one, and were you a reluctant convert or an eager one? So I looked this up on my Amazon account because I couldn't remember exactly when it was. I got my first Kindle as a Christmas gift on December 25th, 2010. So it's been 12 years. I got the old, I don't know, it was the one that had the page turn buttons and the keyboard at the bottom. It was back before the touch screens, and I loved that Kindle. I'm looking at December 25th. I bought War and Peace, still haven't read, The Works of Horace, still haven't read, and The Good Thief's Guide to Vegas, a mystery by Chris Ewan, which I did read. And I thought that was kind of funny that the first 3 books that I bought on Christmas for my new Kindle, 2 of them I have not read, but I'm sure those were classics that were free, and I was playing around and experimenting. And then I bought a whole bunch of stuff on December 26th too, which is kind of fun to look back on. So the reason I got it, of course, was a Christmas gift, and I was a very eager convert. I loved my Kindle from the moment I got it. I've always loved reading, but I loved my first Kindle. I love those page turn buttons too. I still wish they'd bring those old page turn buttons back. Prompt number 2, what e-reader do you use now, and what e-readers do you own? So I still own 2 Kindles. The very first one that I got, I traded in for my second, or actually no, I didn't trade it in. I sold it to Half Price Books for like $5. I got a Paperwhite a few years ago, and I still have that one. And then this year I got the new Oasis. And those are the only 2 e-readers that I currently own. I don't do any reading on my phone or on my computer. I prefer to have a dedicated device. Prompt number 3, do you read digitally on multiple devices or always on the same device? If you use multiple, how do you decide which one to use? So I have my Oasis on my nightstand, and that always stays there. I read at night, in bed, every single night. I love it. That is my evening routine every single day. And I've gotten used to the Oasis. It was a struggle in the beginning. I didn't love it, but I've gotten used to it. And then my Paperwhite, I keep that one in my fanny pack. Yes, I use a fanny pack. I love to be hands-free, so I have a fanny pack that I can also wear as a crossbody, and I keep my old Paperwhite in there so that I always have a book with me. And the nice thing about that, the Paperwhite has a super long battery life, so I can stick it in that purse, and I only have to recharge it. I don't know. I don't read on it very often because I'm not out in public reading very often anymore. So I don't have to charge that one very often. And that is one of the beauties of the Kindle Paperwhite. Prompt number 4, do you still read physical books? If so, how do you decide which format to read a certain book in? So I do still read physical books. Although I do, this is coming later. I think the next prompt, which is would you ditch physical books? I don't read physical books as much as I used to. Now I do have some books like this one that I'm going to be reading for Nonfiction November. This is a memoir by Miss Reed, and I don't have this one on my Kindle, and so I will read it in a paper format. The majority of my misreads, though, I do also have Kindle because I like to read those in bed. So my routine is usually a cozy book in bed on my Kindle, and then if I'm reading downstairs during the day, on the weekend, I'm trying to read a physical book at that point. Because a lot of the books that I love, I don't have on my Kindle. Sometimes I will buy duplicates, but I just bought a big, huge stack of Harlequin romances, those old vintage 1960s Harlequins, and those are not on Kindle at all. So if I want to read those, I have to read them on paper. And they're fun to read on paper because they're so pleasant, they're pleasing, they're aesthetically pleasing, they feel good to hold, they look good. So I do love to own those. Do I always want to read them? I mean, ultimately, let's just go ahead and skip over to prompt number 6, because prompt number 6 is, would you ever ditch physical books completely and become a sole ebook reader? And I totally could. I love reading on my e-reader. It's my preferred method. Now, I still love collecting physical books, and I always will. Well, I think I always will. But I love to collect. I love to buy books, and I will always want to, I say always, I mean, who knows? Who knows if I ever downsize to a smaller place? My house is pretty small already, but I have a lot of bookshelves. So someday, who knows, maybe I'll get rid of some books. I don't envision that happening right now, but I have learned to never say never. So I do like to collect physical books, but I really prefer the reading experience on my e-reader, which I know is a little sacrilegious, but I bought all these are my Jane Austens right here. I love these, but I read all of these on my Kindle. I love that reading experience. So I could totally ditch paper books for reading, but I will never ditch them for collecting because I love the aesthetic. I love the way they look. I love the way they feel. I love the way a whole wall of books looks in my home. It's so pleasing to me. So I'll probably never not own books, but I could definitely envision a time where I primarily read ebooks, which I really already do. Now, in my dream world, when I bought a physical book, they would give me a free e-reader a free ebook or a very inexpensive ebook. I would love that because I like to have both. So I'm going to go back now to prompt number 5. What is something that you dislike about reading ebooks? And there's not much in the reading experience itself that I don't like about ebooks. However, there is one thing. I was recently talking to a friend about this. I don't like that it doesn't show you how many pages the book has and how much of that is possibly appendices or index or end notes. I've been surprised on an ebook before, getting to the end and thinking there was more and then having it be suddenly over. So I would really like for it to say, like at the bottom of my e-reader, This is page 3 of 417 pages, and then plus appendices or something, so you could just sort of tell where you are in relationship to the book. I find that a little disconcerting. I don't find the location all that helpful, and yes, I do sometimes just go to time remaining to see where I am, but it's not very satisfying, and again, it doesn't reflect any endnotes or appendices. So that's really the only thing about ebooks that I dislike. Prompt number 7 is, where do you get your ebooks? Kindle store, library loans, or third-party websites? I have a Kindle, so I buy everything that I'm going to buy or even buy for free, I get from the Kindle store, and I do get a ton from my library. My library luckily has a wonderful selection of ebooks, and so I get a ton of books from my library. I'm so blessed to have a local library system that is wonderful. And I would also love to hear your thoughts down below on if you like reading on an e-reader. All right, thank you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.